What's up, guys? It is Carly here, bringing you episode number 10 of my entire horror movie collection series. And yes, for this part I'm actually going to be finishing off the DVDs completely. Finally, yes, we have gotten to this part, and then after that I will go on to the Blu-ray section here. So yeah, very exciting. So I'm just going to start off where I left off as usual, and to start we have The Woods, and I just kind of had these piled up here because I didn't feel like getting another table to put them on, so yeah, but The Woods, this is a Lucky McKee film. I actually recently watched this and reviewed it on Body Bags about a month or two ago, and I thought it was pretty okay. You know, it was a pretty decent witch story. It wasn't overly scary or anything like that. It had an interesting enough story to it. I wouldn't say it was Lucky McKee's best movie out of the ones that I've seen, but it was still an okay movie. I think I gave it like a 7 out of 10 or so. So not too bad, not, you know, nothing overly exciting, but it was a pretty cool story overall. After that, we have Wrong Turn, the first Wrong Turn movie. Honestly, I've only seen this one once, and I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I do remember enjoying it quite a bit. I thought it was a pretty decent movie, and I still need to watch the other ones in the series because I've only seen 2 other ones, and unfortunately I've seen them out of order. I've seen part 2 and part 5, I believe, so I still got to get my hands on the other ones because I hear they're all pretty, you know, decent, nothing special, but like, you know, pretty solid, and this one was definitely solid. It's one I definitely have to give a rewatch to, though. Then right after that, we have Wrong Turn 2, Dead End here. This one was definitely more cheesy compared to the first one, I remember, because it's more centered around this sort of game show in the woods. I don't remember the entire concept of it, but it was definitely cheesy, but it was also very fun and also a, you know, solid sequel. Definitely, like I said, different than the first one, but overall pretty good movie in itself. Then we have Lucio Fulci's Zombie here. This is a Blue Underground release. I believe JP gave me this one, and the first time I saw Zombie, I didn't really care for it too much. I thought it was a little overhyped. It was one of the first, you know, when I started collecting, it was one of those movies that I wanted to watch because that was back when I was trying to watch all the classics that I've heard people talk about and things like that. So I didn't really care for it at first, but then upon rewatch, I actually really enjoyed it, and I think the, you know, special makeup effects and things are pretty solid in this. The zombies look like how I would kind of picture zombies looking, and you know, it's also got a pretty great score to it. You know, I'm not a huge fan of Italian movies, but I think this one is actually pretty solid, especially when you give it a few chances. Okay, and then after that we have 100 Scariest Movie Moments Part 1 here. Yeah, I just kind of put this in a case and labeled it. I think this is actually, I think this was the Howling case, and I had ordered a copy of The Howling on DVD a few years ago, and when I got it, it was actually scratched and broken because I got it from a used place, unfortunately, so I just kept the case and flipped the thing around, and now I have a case for 100 Scariest Movie Moments, which was actually ripped for me by JP because this is a cool thing that they did on Bravo back in the earlier late 2000s. I believe it was 2004, where they counted down the 100 scariest movie moments. They weren't all horror movies. Some of them were like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Wizard of Oz, but it's a really, really cool series that they did, and I've watched it multiple times, and, you know, I wish they would do an updated one again. They've done a few, but, you know, it would just be cool to see another big list like this because it's just very interesting to watch. So I am glad that I own this. It is something that I do revisit from time to time. Then we just have part 2 here because you couldn't fit it all on one disc. So this is just the last portion of that series. After that, we're getting into the Masters of Horror episodes, and first up we have Incident on and Off a Mountain Road. I think this is the first episode. I don't own all the episodes. There's about 2 or 3 that I still need to get from the first season, and then I need almost all of them from the second season, but I like to collect them in their own separate DVDs instead of getting the full pack because I think it's fun to kind of find them, you know, out in the wild. But Anyway, this one I remember thinking was, you know, pretty decent. It was a good way to definitely start the series. Obviously, Don Coscarelli directed this one, who directed Phantasm and such, and, you know, I thought it was pretty solid. Definitely a good, like I said, kickstart for the series. Definitely not my favorite, though, and I will say I've watched these all out of order, just kind of watched them as I got them, because, you know, obviously it's kind of like a TV series, but they're all by different directors and things like that, so it doesn't really matter, but yeah, this one's not too bad. Then after that, we have Dreams in the Witch House. This is probably one, I think this might have been the first one that I actually watched, and once again, this one wasn't too bad. Definitely wasn't my favorite. The story was pretty cool behind it, but, you know, not my favorite, but not bad either. Then we have Dance of the Dead. I think Toby Hooper made this one. Yeah, he made this one, and I actually remember not really liking this one too much. It was just a very weird story, and it was kind of confusing and things like that, and I just remember this was definitely probably one of my least favorites. Then we have Jennifer. I believe this is probably one of the most famous ones out of all of these. This was done by Dario Argento, of course, and this is so creepy. This is one that, out of all of these, I would probably revisit this one the most. I've only watched it one time, but it's definitely one that I think about and would like to go back to and rewatch, because it is so good, and it is actually really scary. This is a true, you know, horror story, horror short, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, this one is just fantastic. Then we have Chocolate by Mick Garris, and I actually don't think I like this one too much. JP told me I was crazy and that he loved this one. It's one of his favorites from this first season, but I actually thought it was just okay. I think I gave it like a 6 out of 10 maybe, or something like that. Maybe even a 5. I don't remember, but yeah, I didn't really care for this one a lot. Then we have Dear Woman, which is one that I really didn't like. Oh wait, actually I think, reverse that. I think this is the one that JP might have thought was good and I didn't like. Can't really remember. I bought this one and Chocolate around the same time and watched them around the same time, but yeah, I didn't really like this one a whole lot at all either. I just thought it had too much comedy to it that didn't work for me, and when the comedy doesn't work for me, I definitely do not like it, especially if it's supposed to be horror comedy, and, you know, if you're going to sprinkle comedy into your horror, that's fine, but if it's cheesy comedy that I do not like, then I'm probably not going to like it, so didn't care for this one too much at all. Then we have Cigarette Burns. This was John Carpenter's. I believe I like this one quite a bit as well. I don't really remember it a whole lot, to be honest, but I remember thinking it was pretty cool. Then we have The Fairhaired Child. I definitely remember the story and things that go on in this one, but I don't remember if I liked it or not, which is weird. I could picture the story, but I would have to rewatch this one to give my full opinions. Some of these, it's been probably a year or so since I actually got around to watching them, and since then I haven't really rewatched any, so it's hard for me to remember how I felt about this one, but I do remember it. Then we have Sick Girl. This is another thing by Lucky McKee, and I actually really enjoyed this. It has Angela Bettis in it, and it has a very May-like feel to it. Angela Bettis is playing an awkward character in this, as she usually does, and the thing I like about her is that she plays awkward really well, and she can play it in different ways. Like, I feel like she's very different in this than she is in May, because in this she kind of seems a little more confident and intelligent, but, you know, in May she's just a total weirdo, and I think she does a really good job. She also has this kind of accent of sorts that she puts on, and I just thought this was a really cool one. I really enjoyed it. It had that weird feel to it that I really like. Then we have Imprint, and this is definitely the most disturbing one out of all of them. You know, it's very brutal. I think, who did this? Takashi Miike, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he did this one, and, yeah, it's very brutal. It's very different in tone than the other ones, I would have to say. You know, this one and Jennifer are definitely the most disturbing, horror-esque ones out of all of these. I feel like a lot of these are very much lighthearted, just fun little shorts, and then this one, you know, takes it to the next level, and it was very well made, definitely, but probably not one I would rewatch a whole lot just because it's pretty brutal to watch. After that, we have Poups. This is getting into season 2 now, I believe. Yeah, because Imprint, I believe, was the final one for season 1. So, Poups, I think I like this one. It's funny, I actually recently watched this one, but I can't remember it entirely for some reason. But I'm pretty sure I like this one. I think Argento did this one as well, so it was pretty cool. And then, finally, for this part, guys, and for the DVDs in general, we have the Screw-Fi solution, and I don't really remember exactly how I felt about this one too much either. I think, you know, it's kind of a bad sign if I don't remember, because that means it's not memorable to me, and I probably didn't love it all that much, but, yeah, I wish I had more to say about this because it's the last one in the DVD section, but I honestly can't remember this one too much. I might have been kind of zoned out when watching it, but I'll have to rewatch it one day because I'm very curious now. I don't remember the story much at all. So, yeah, that is it for the DVD section of my collection. As I said, I finally made it through it. Took 10 episodes and however many months, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'm actually pretty excited to get into the Blu-rays here soon because I actually have accumulated quite a bit of Blu-rays since I started this series. Blu-rays was the one thing I was lacking in, and now I have like a million, it feels like, but yeah, I'm really excited to get into those, so hope you guys are enjoying these videos, and I will see you in the next one.